Well, hey guys, welcome to this quick sample lesson. Here we have some students in the chat. I see Green Lizard, Murfinsky, and Laura JSZ. So welcome guys. Just going to do a quick tactics warm-up. So I'll set up a problem like you see in front of you. I'll tell you guys what the prompt is, whose move is it, and who's playing to win. And then you guys will have a chance to solve the answer and write your solutions in the chat. For those of you watching at home, if you're watching the recorded version of this, you can solve the problems along with everyone else, and you can also pause and give yourself extra time to solve each problem. In fact, I would recommend this. If you haven't solved it yet, you can pause when you see the position and try to spend a little bit more time and try to see if you can get the right answer. So our first problem here, we're going to start off pretty simple. And I would say all these tactics are around, let's say, USCF 1200 level, maybe around this range. This one is white to play and win. So you're looking for white's best continuation here. In fact, white has a forced mate. I'll give you guys a little bit hint. White can mate here in 2 moves. And now you guys will get some time to write your answers in the chat. And we'll see how you guys do. Okay, so Green Lizard says, how about bishop h6? This is definitely a good start. We have a discovered check here, and bishop h6 opens up the rook against the king. Bishop h6. So now black has, I think, 2 options. He can either move the king back, or he can take the rook. He can also play here, but that doesn't seem to be very useful. We'll just take. So Laura also says bishop h6 check, and then Green Lizard says bishop h6 discovered attack followed by rook takes f8. Very good. So black's best move is probably to take the rook, and then after rook takes f8, we have a checkmate on the board. White's pawn is covering the e7 square. Same thing if black goes the other way, if they go king to g8. Here white doesn't get the immediate mate, but is very close. Rook takes and rook h8. This is mate as well. So white here wins with a nice mating combination. Okay, good job everyone. I'm going to move on to the next example here. And here we have white to play again. And this is actually a mate in 3 moves. So I'll give you guys some time to figure this one out. Now, the good thing about the class is that there's actually a little bit of lag between the video and the chat. I think about 15 to 20 seconds. So that means as soon as the position goes up, because of this lag, students have at least 15 to 20 seconds to write in their answer, and that's before they're seeing anyone else's answers in the chat. So that's pretty nice, so they're not influenced by someone else not copying anyone else's answers. Okay, so here looks like Murfinsky was first. He says queen g6, h takes g6, and knight f7 mate. And Green Lizard says queen g6 exclam. Okay, good job guys. Yeah, this is a very nice queen sacrifice. And this ends up leading to mate. So we give check. If black moves back with the king, we just have knight f7 mate right away. And if black takes with the rook, which they should probably do, white takes with the pawn to give a check. Black has only one move, has to go back, king to h8, and then knight f7, called by Ryan in the chat, to mate for black in the corner. And yeah, exactly right. These are all very forcing moves. Nowhere in this entire combination does black have a chance to get out, because all of white's moves are with check. Queen g6 check, has to take, pawn takes with check, king has to go back, and then knight f7 is a nice mate. It's kind of a nice variation on the smothered mate with our pawn here controlling the h7 square. Okay, good job everyone. Let's go to the next example. Now these are gonna potentially get a little bit more challenging. And here we have black to play and win. So if white defends in the best way, black is not going to get a checkmate, but black is looking for a way to win material, at least a piece, or hopefully a rook or even a queen. So we're looking for black's strongest move in the position. And in fact, there might be more than one variation available. So if white can defend in a number of different ways, I often suggest to students to try and include multiple variations in the chat. So let's see what these guys come up with here. Okay, looks like Green Lizard says bishop g1 looks interesting. Yeah, I would agree. Looks very interesting. Let's see. Gonna give the rest of you guys a couple of chances here to write in your solutions as well, and then we'll take a look. And again, for those of you at home, if you want to pause the video and try to think more, I'm definitely encouraging you guys to do that. It's always nice to really try to put your full effort when solving tactics. Okay, Laura also likes bishop g1, but not sure how to follow up. Well, bishop g1 is a very, very strong move, and black is actually creating a double attack here. First things first, we have this discovered attack. We have our rook lined up against the queen, and bishop to g1 opens up the rook, so we're hitting the queen on d3. Black is also having a second threat here, and this is why the bishop is so strong on g1, to play queen takes h2 mate. So white here is in big trouble. The queen is hanging, and we're threatening queen takes h2 with a checkmate. The only defense here is to play queen to h3, getting the queen out of danger and protecting the h2 pawn, but unfortunately for white, the rook on d1 is also hanging. So black can play rook takes d1. Now we're threatening another checkmate along the back rank, and the white is completely lost. So this was a nice tactic. A lot of different themes here actually. We have discovered attack, we have the checkmate on h2, and we're also creating a skewer against the rook on d1. And because of this, black is winning. Alright guys, let's go on to the next one. Good job everyone there. And here we have a challenge problem. This is black to play and win, and we're looking for the strongest continuation, just like the other problems. This one might be a little bit tough, but of course I always want to challenge my students here in the classes. So if you guys get this one, I will be very, very impressed. Okay, Green Lizard says, I want to sack a queen. Very interesting. Laura comes up with queen takes f4. That's definitely a queen sack. But what's the follow-up? We have to really think very hard about the follow-up before we sacrifice the queen. Now in class, you can sacrifice the queen as much as you want. There's no penalty, right? But in a tournament game, if you sacrifice your queen and your combination doesn't work out, you're gonna lose the game. That's why it's very important to practice very accurate and complete calculation. And Murfinsky comes up with the full solution. He says queen takes f4, brilliant move. Now white cannot take with the g pawn, this pawn is pinned. White has to take e takes f4. And the key idea, rook to h5. Now I'm sure many of you at home probably saw this and were able to solve it, so good job to you as well. And with this last move, rook h5, black is setting up a mate on the h1 square. Rook h1 is coming next, and white has no way to get out. King f1, the king does not escape because the bishop covers these squares as well, so rook h1 is just mate. And white can even try, if they're a crafty defender, queen takes e4, hoping to give back the queen and avoid checkmate, but of course black does not take this queen, instead gives mate anyway and wins the game. So very nice solution, starting with the queen sacrifice and then using the light squared bishop that is controlling all these squares to set up a nice mating net with the rook. Okay guys, that concludes our tactics warm-up. Thanks to my students for tuning in and writing in their solutions. And make sure you guys check out the homework that I'll be sending for you in the in the course curriculum, and I'll see you guys in the next class. Thanks, guys. Take care. Well, hey guys, welcome to this quick sample lesson. Here we have some students in the chat. I see Green Lizard, Murfinsky, and Laura JSZ. So welcome, guys. Just going to do a quick tactics warm-up. So I'll set up a problem like you see in front of you. I'll tell you guys what the prompt is, whose move is it, and who's playing to win. And then you guys will have a chance to solve the answer and write the your solutions in the chat. For those of you watching at home, if you're watching the recorded version of this, you can solve the problems along with everyone else, and you can also pause and give yourself extra time to solve each problem. In fact, I would recommend this. If you haven't solved it yet, you can pause when you see the position and try to spend a little bit more time and try to see if you can get the right answer. So our first problem here, we're going to start off pretty simple. And I would say all these tactics are around, let's say, USCF 1200 level, maybe around this range. This one is white to play and